Hi, thank you for having me today. My name is Robin Louise Stevens Young. I'm with the Texas Master Beekeeping Program, Master Craftsman. Today, I will be talking about Apis mellifera carnica, a honeybee from Slovenia. If all you see is the chart here, you would be missing what the Carniolan Honey Bee is all about. First, let's look at other types of honeybees and see what they look like. Here we have the African queen honeybee, the buckfast queen honeybee, the Caucasian queen honeybee, the Cordovian queen honeybee, the Italian queen honeybee, the Russian queen honeybee, the Carniolan queen honeybee. Phenolic traits in Apis mellifera carnica is often described as the gray honeybee. Its hairs are brownish, gray, and short, giving an overall gray perception. Their abdomen is free of yellow rings, typical, for example, for Apis mellifera linguistica, with the exception of the first abdominal segment, which is often leather-colored. Also, brownish spots could be present laterally on the second trigate. Rutner, 1978, measured 33 traits in their morphometric study of Apis mellifera species and performed multilateral analysis of the results. Among the characteristics contributing significantly to the viability were hairiness and wing venation. Apis mellifera carnica is considered a single subspecies itself, but within its population there are recognized variations called ecotypes, with the main ones being Alpine Carniolan and Pannonian Carniolan and Mediterranean Carniolan, effectively acting as subpopulations within the border Carniolan and subspecies. Slovenia is part of the European Union and is located right next to Italy. Apis mellifera carnica is a honeybee subspecies first described by Pullman in 1879. Slovenia is often mentioned as a homeland of Carniolan honeybee, although it is evident that natural habitat of Apis mellifera carnica is much bigger and that Slovenia sits at the western edge of its area. Due to its soft temper, adaptation to extreme low temperatures, good honey production in spring and summer, mainly produced on carnivorous trees, Carniolan honeybee is in many countries well accepted and considered a very popular honeybee variety. There are about 10,000 beekeepers in Slovenia, and considering that the population of Slovenia is about 2 million, this is a very large number. There are up to 200,000 bee colonies. This means that an average beekeeper has fewer than 20 bee colonies. There are few beekeepers with more than 100 bee colonies, but one Slovenian beekeeper that is counted among the largest in the European Union has more than 2,500 colonies. A wonderful independent analysis of Apis mellifera carnica was done by a group of leading scientists headed up by Janko Bozic. Genetic constitution of the Apis mellifera carnica population. The population structure of Apis mellifera carnica in Slovenia and neighboring countries has been performed using 23 microsatellite markers and sequencing of the COI and the COII region of mitochondrial DNA. The microsatellite data revealed considerable genetic diversity of Slovenian population of Apis mellifera carnica. However, no significant population structure could be observed between different regions. The Croatian population, however, is clearly differentiated from Slovenian population, probably due to the geographical obstacles, with the indication that in Croatia, the continental population can be differentiated from the lateral population, which also includes honeybee populations from the islands. The microsatellite data show that Slovenian population is relatively compact in terms of genetic viability and distinct from Croatian and Italy population. This data suggests that in some cases the introduction of Apis mellifera carnica from other sources to Slovenia population could theoretically be detected. However, no private alleles, which could be used as a strict genetic marker, could not be found for any of the analysis population. The analysis of allele frequencies at MS loci showed considerable allelic richness and high degree of heterozygosity in all populations. It seems that the biology of the honeybee, which characteristics promiscuous mating behavior of queen bees, makes this species much less sensitive to inbreeding. The analysis revealed considerable viability in the Slovenian population, which is probably a consequence of high initial viability, but partly also a consequence of introduction of genetic material from other sources in the past. It is interesting that Croatian and Austrian samples build their own groups, and that within the Slovenian group there is a cluster of haplotypes, which are similar to the Austrian haplotypes. This could be explained by the traffic between the Geoinsic region and Carinthian, probably in both directions, not excluding the possibility of crossbreeding in nature due to the high diversity of honeybee colonies in the past, but also more recently. The surprising similarity between Slovenian and Macedonian samples could be explained by a very low number, 20 of Macedonian samples analyzed, and by the assumption that Macedonian honeybees were introduced to the Slovenian population in the second half of the last century. In addition to MS analysis, this sequenced mitochondrial DNA from 280 individuals of Apis mellifera carnica from Slovenia, Austria, and Macedonia, and Apis mellifera linguistica from Italy. In the material, they found 9 different haplotypes in Slovenian population of Apis mellifera carnica, which were represented in more than one species. The most frequent represented haplotypes were C2C 33%, C1A 27%, and C2J 26%. The following 6 haplotypes were present in much lower frequencies. This result clearly showed that population structures of Apis mellifera carnica in Slovenia is much more complex than assumed initially. Instead of one mitochondrial DNA, haplotype C2C, which was the only mitochondrial DNA haplotype identified in the study, there are also present 2 other almost equally abundant haplotypes, C1A and C2J, the 6 less abundant mitochondrial DNA haplotypes. Our recent results reveal some additional haplotypes, but some of them were found only in one specimen. Biometric analysis in honeybees, usually only a limited number of specific genes are responsible for the particular trait, and very often numerous genes are epigenetically modified and are involved in the various genetic regulatory networks and in protein-protein interactions. Carniolan honeybee differs from other species and other behavior. They are not aggressive, and psychological adaptations to cold winters which allow them a better and longer survival. Carniolan honeybees have often been lovingly called the gentleman's beekeeper.
These are the smoke sticks. You don't need the big smoker like with the Langstroth, because these Langstroths are open, so you need a lot more smoke. These are closed, so you don't need that much smoke. These sticks are wonderful. It's all I use now.
I will open the...
This is the type of hive that I sell. You see the feeders down below?
Yes.
This is the feeder. You put sugar water in here.
Yeah, it sure is buzzing.
The young flames.
For you two, they slide on 3 metal bars. And there's spacers in the back that they slide into for slots so that the space is correct.
Tja je bila ustavljena matica noter.
Ustavljena.
Ja, da je bila matica dana noter 3 dni nazaj.
Ah, they put the queen inside 3 days ago.
Oh, not so.
In matica od tukaj je šla v infantne.
And the queen that was here is in the other hive there on the other half of the bee house.
So these eggs are from the old queen.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful, huh?
And why did they replace the queen?
Da delamo na rejence.
To make nukes.
To make nukes to separate out.
Does he sell the nukes? Does he
Yeah.
sell the nukes or she's selling them?
He uses them for the trailers, for the trucks.
Ker jih imamo viška, a ne, jih pa pol lahko prodamo.
He can sell only what's extra. If there's extra, they can sell.
So I still think I'm missing something. The old queen wasn't making new cells, or the fact that they took the old queen out.
You
triggered
replace
them
the
to
queen.
think that
You replace the queens every year,
Na 2 do 3 leta.
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years,
But he kept her. He put her in a different.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Put them in the nuke.
to make a nuke because he needs to have other families to replace those from the transportation system he has.
yeah, see, this queen is amazing. You can just tell by her laying pattern. And so he wanted to make
wanted a better quality.
Če je
He
pa slaba
needed more
matica,
families.
jo pa že prej zamikal.
more hives.
Replace ones that die.
Ali pa če bili sama
The
približali.
trucks.
Tako da je odvisno od
Why couldn't the other
matice.
queens do that?
Because not all his 5 hives were full.
Why did they want
He took some out of here to move into a new hive.
In matica, a ne, nova matica ne bo zalegala, dokler je stara zalega noter. Ko
It
se
says
bodo vse stare čebele polegle ven, potem bo ona šele začela svoje jajčice dati. Ona, dokler so pa druge noter jajčica, ne bo svojih dejanj.
Yeah, she said the new queen. He says the new queen will not lay for as long as there is old brood inside.
Really?
Yeah,
So
and
then
as
why
soon
did
as the old brood will hatch, when the
so what
bees
does
come
the
out,
new queen do during all this
kaj
time?
pa počne ta čas?
Čaka.
She waits.
Se boli.
She waits, really?
She
But in the
waits.
meantime, the old queen is somewhere else making new brood.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't really about this one. It was about the other one.
Zdaj, če je pa slabo vreme ali pa za otroke, ki se naprimer bojijo, imamo pa pol tiste satnice tamle od zadaj, kakor jih imate za hrbtom, a ne, da so naslikani. A ne.
Yeah, of course, for children, they have frames with pictures on
Oh,
for safety.
That's a really good idea.
They're buying.
Behind you, know?
We have those too.
I have a set of those too.
That's brilliant.
You can order those through me if you want them. There's a set of 10 on both sides.
Zdaj bom pokazal še pan, ki ga čakam, da bo rojil. In
He's going to
sicer
show us the hive that's going to swarm now.
noter ima več matičnikov.
So it
in-
has many,
Ja.
few queen
So
cells.
what does the
Now,
foam
I
and
have a
back
question.
do?
Insulation.
Do you leave the insulation in all year round?
Ne.
No.
And just
Now-
for winter.
Okay, but why wouldn't you open these vents now that the insulation is in there? Isn't it too warm for them?
Ne, tlele jim ni, tlele jim še malo pustim. Po pa, ko ocenim, da so dost močne, jih pa lahko...
Yeah, he will remove it when he decides that they're strong enough.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Safe for kids, Slovenian beekeepers have even been known to introduce their young children to honeybees earlier than other countries. The Carniolan Honey Bee has a vast history. It was the year 1691 AD, on the 5th of June, the feast of Saint Boniface. Our ancestors from nearby villages brought 72 hives full of bees to the forest of Pokaluka. It was at night, and the owner of the forest knew nothing. When he discovered them, he demanded 8 beehives with honey and wax in exchange for the use of his pasture. This event was recorded in the land registry of Bled, Slovenia, nobility as the first case of bees being taken to a new pasture. The family beekeeping business, Servloka Konik, respects and tries to improve on the precious 230-year-old legacy of our ancestors with a whole series of bee products. My forefathers, Frank Volk from Hras, was mentioned for the first time on the 14th of April, 1781, and he was one of the founders of the first beekeeping associations, the Rhodine Beekeeping Fraternity. Instrumental insemination. Why instrumental insemination? Sue Kobe is an acknowledged international authority in the field of instrumental insemination and honeybee breeding. She's established and maintained the New World Carniolan Closed Population Breeding Program, now in its 37th generation, a recognized industry standard and modern program for teaching. She's been the featured presenter at the Texas A&M Honeybee Lab, The Art of Queen Rearing. In order to keep new Carniolan genetics coming into the United States, she's been going over to Slovenia and bringing back the strongest Carniolan drone spermatozoa she can get access to. This is Bron Koznick at his apiaries, the Carniolan mating station in Krama Valley in Slovenia. I had a chance to work with him in May of 2018 and again in May of 2019.
Selection, if I collect these drones, I don't know which is the best, but here in this area only the best drones mating with queens. But here it's all the time is about 50,000 drones. So between these drones is selection for 300 queens. Really the best. But it's also a problem because of this weather.
He raised his drones in a protected mountainside in one of Slovenia's state parks. He is one of the few people that has received permission. He stated, "I raise my drones in this harsh, cold environment so that only the strong survive. I also maintain a combined 40% drone larva and cap drone brood in each hive." He asked us if we had heard of Sue Kobe. He said he has worked with her on collecting spermatozoa from his drones to take to the United States.
Wow.
Look at here's
You guys, come here.
that's all
here.
drone cells.
Yep, drones.
And inside is also 2 frames of drone cells, so approximately 10,000 or more is for one hive.
So do you want them to build in there?
Yes.
You do want them to build in
Yeah.
there.
It's
Okay.
a special drone.
That's a really special drone.
Yeah, see how they bubble out? That's the drones.
If I mean the drone comb, does he make it wider so they'll make more drones?
Do you make this frame this way so they will do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also
Look
inside.
at the entrance. Yeah.
Also inside is 2 frames of drones, so it's drone cells.
Wow.
So that's in 2 frames is 10,000 and about 5,000 is here, so it's 15,000 drone cells for one hive.
Wow.
So it's really crowd of drones,
Yeah.
and between these drones is a high competition. so really the best can make.
How are they supported? Because a normal hive usually has 5 to 10%
Yeah.
drones, and
Yeah,
really
that's
have
right.
changed the
That's right.
percentage.
That's much more.
So how are you feeding them, and how are they surviving without the percentage of?
Yes, I must feeding
You're
here.
feeding them.
Yeah, but only a short time now. It's for instance, it's maple tree. So they collect some honeydew, but normally I feed it all the season because here is okay. Sometimes it's spruce, and so I must check all the time, and it's very important. Good feeding it that the drones will be strong and active.
Currently, He also works with young children, teaching them the art of queen rearing. This next video will be in the Alps, and you can hear the hard conditions of the heavy rain falling on the cold that it takes for these bees to be strong and to get the best genetic quality possible. Let's hear from Bran Koenig himself.
The rain straight on the brood is
They're
used to hard conditions.
yeah. You know, it's also in this condition, it's not easy so to survive for the bees. So it's really strong, must be really strong quality. So when these queens come to some other good weather conditions, very quickly rise up.
Instrumental insemination. So you've just heard where Sue Kobe gets the spermatozoa that is brought to the United States. You are seeing what it takes to keep Apis mellifera carnica genetics vibrant here in the United States. What you see in this photo is a queen spermatheca. The clear ball is a spermatheca from a virgin mated queen. The two marble-like white balls are spermathecas taken from queens that were mated. The drone displayed in this reproductive organ of the male honeybee, and in Slovenia there are popped to collect the spermatozoa and transport it to the United States for insemination into an unmated virgin queen. Here in the Texas A&M Honeybee Lab, we have Sue Kobe inserting semen into the unmated queen. I had a rare opportunity to be taught and instructed by Dr. Julian Rangel herself from the Texas A&M Honeybee Lab how to pop a drone and collect spermatozoa.
And I have to do some just very minor press so the claspers are out, and then slowly
Keep squeezing.
squeezing but gently.
There's nothing coming out on that one, is there?
It will. You can still feel some pressure right there.
Yeah.
And you'll see your sperm actually right there is the brownish.
Okay.
So brown compared to white. That's mucus, that's semen. And there's about 1 million sperm cells in this little here.
Normal queen grafting is not possible with the current law for protecting honeybees in the United States. Dr. Elizabeth Walsh is presenting what normally would be done to graft queens.
And so I go through and I kind of lean down here. And so that larva is in a C or a U, whatever you want to say. You want to bend down in that J and pick it up from the curve. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And you, if you're perfect.
The backside.
Yeah, from the backside. And if you're perfect, it'll be just on the edge of your tool. I use this kind of tool. It's a standard German one. It makes me happy. If a different tool works for you, then go for it. I encourage you to try them out. So you can move them around on the cell a little bit, but if you move them into the wall, it's better to just stop. And sometimes it'll take me 10 cells to get one. Sometimes that's just how it is. And when they've only got a little bit of royal jelly like this, then that's kind of how it is.
Can you put royal jelly into one?
Into the cell?
Yeah.
No.
If it's not in there, you can't add it to it. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, drone.
It's just better to...
It either has it or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people I've seen
There we go. So you can see that? That's...
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it over there.
Bees have long symbolized diligence, order, and industriousness, often compared to human virtues. Their hives represent hard work and saving, while bees and honey frequently appear in proverbs about wisdom and efforts in the Bible. For example, pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bone. Proverbs 16:24. What are the most amazing and wonderful things I learned and discovered was there are no termites in Slovenia, so there's no wood rot. Set the longevity of the hives, and the history of the hives has been maintained and protected. The cradle of Slovenian beekeeping. To mark the 150th anniversary of the birth of the most famous Carniolan honeybees, the Beekeeping and Fruit Crowning Association of Carniola ceremonially unveiled a commemorative plate in the house made from the red marble, the work of Janos Vernick Jr. World Bee Day was established in 2018 by the United Nations. Important and influence of the Carniolan honeybees to the Slovenian society today. To truly understand the value of the Carniolan honeybee, you only need to look at the Slovenian currency and language. As part of the European Union, each country is allowed to design their own €2 coin. The Slovenian language is no different. Notice these differences. American terms, Slovenian terms. Queen, mother. Drone, father. Bee colonies, bee families. Mating flight, wedding flight. The most significant words are the words of death. Humans and bees, they use the word umre. All other living things, Slovenian uses the word pogmine. The use of these bee terms have been found in ancient literature. They also have the same songs, more songs about honeybees than any other culture. In the English language, there's no such animal that shares that kind of love. You might think you love your pet, cat, or dog, but think of what we call the female version of both. The word death, they use the word death for humans as they do for bees, the same word. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I want to give a special thanks to my +1 in 2018. My husband, Jack Young, went with me to Slovenia for World Bee Day. And then in 22, my sister, Elizabeth Fichte, went with me. I'm so grateful for them for taking this journey with me and learning so much. And for my mother for watching my 4 young children for 21 days each time. Such blessings. I want to leave you with this Slovenian song that is sung all over Slovenia about their love for honeybees. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Moje srce done.
He's right smack in the middle of everything.